presidential debate moderators are set, with Lester Holt for the first. Lester Holt, Martha Raddatz, Anderson Cooper and Chris Wallace were selected Friday to moderate this year's presidential debates, providing a diverse and non-controversial group of anchors for a role that has often been a lightning rod for partisan criticism. Mr. Holt, the anchor of NBC Nightly News, will moderate the first debate on September 26. Ms. Raddatz of ABC and Mr. Cooper of CNN will moderate the town hall debate on October 9, and Mr. Wallace of Fox News will handle the final debate on October 19. All are first-time presidential debate moderators. Elaine Quijano, a CBS News correspondent, will moderate the vice presidential debate on October 4. For Mr. Holt, the assignment is another prestigious step in his rise since succeeding Brian Williams on NBC's evening news program 18 months ago, and Mr. Wallace will become the first Fox News anchor to host a presidential debate. The selections, announced by the Commission on Presidential Debates, also make for a considerably more diverse slate than in previous election cycles, with an African American, Mr. Holt, 2 women, including a Filipino-American, Ms. Quijano, and an openly gay man, Mr. Cooper. Competing interests and political agendas on all sides made the decision of selecting moderators difficult. Hillary Clinton, whose campaign objected to the involvement of anyone from Fox News, according to a person directly involved in the negotiations, needs to avoid having the debate turn into a televised catharsis for doubts about her honesty and likability. Her opponent, Donald J. Trump, has an interest in maintaining his adversarial relationship with the media, which he uses as fodder for his arguments that the entire political system is conspiring to defeat him. And the Debate Commission, which found its relevance at risk after efforts by Republicans to undermine its credibility as an independent player in the process, needed to demonstrate that it was not biased or susceptible to pressure from either campaign. The Commission's choices were unlikely to provoke strong opposition, which was by design. The inclusion of a moderator from Fox News was an effort to appease conservatives who had long grumbled about the lack of conservative media representation in the debates. NBC News, which the Commission left out of the 2012 debates because the Romney campaign complained that it could not get a fair shake from the network or its cable partner, MSNBC, is now back at the table, and the Commission had little choice but to bypass Fox's Megyn Kelly, who had a star turn during the Republican primary debates but also has had a deeply adversarial relationship with Mr. Trump. Ms. Kelly was at the top of the list of potential moderators the Trump campaign told the Commission it deemed unacceptable, a Trump official said. But perhaps the biggest sensitivity involved Mr. Trump, who has sought to discredit the debate process from the beginning. Despite the fact that debates have been scheduled to compete with major sporting events in previous years, they always take place in the fall when the baseball and football seasons are in full swing. He claimed that the Commission was deliberately scheduling them opposite NFL games so fewer people would watch. Complicating matters further, Mr. Trump has a long and chilly relationship with one of the co-chairmen of the Commission, Frank Farnkopf. In particular, Mr. Farnkopf and Mr. Trump butted heads over Mr. Trump's unwillingness to pay dues to the association, said one person who knows both men. For the candidates, the debates may be the best remaining opportunity for both candidates to reshape the 2016 race, and for Mr. Trump, who is trailing in the polls, to gain ground against Mrs. Clinton. Debates have allowed challengers and relative political newcomers to reach out to reluctant voters, providing reassurance about their qualifications. Barack Obama and Bill Clinton helped put to rest questions about their preparedness for the presidency in confident debate exchanges. George W. Bush defied the caricature of himself as a light-away by holding his own against Al Gore. Mr. Trump, facing significant skepticism among voters about his character and temperament, will be aiming for a similarly forceful performance. But Mrs. Clinton is one of the most practiced debaters in modern politics, after 2 campaigns for the Senate and the presidency, and she is perceived to have a considerable advantage. Mr. Wallace's appointment was celebrated in a letter to employees from Rupert Murdoch, The media mogul overseeing Fox News, which was besieged this summer by the sexual harassment scandal involving Roger Ailes, who founded and led Fox News. But Univision, the Spanish-language broadcaster, sent a letter to the commission protesting the absence of a Hispanic moderator, calling it an abdication of your responsibility to represent and reflect one of the largest and most influential communities in the U.S. Presidential debates provide a prestigious stage for newscasters, especially in this tumultuous election season, which produced record television ratings for debates. The first Republican debate last August attracted 24 million viewers, the highest-rated non-sports cable event in history. Democratic debates similarly broke viewing records for the party. But the debates also come with potential pitfalls that can heap unwanted attention on moderators striving to serve as umpires calling balls and strikes. In 2012, after Candy Crowley of CNN fact-checked Mitt Romney and corrected him during a debate with Barack Obama, she was criticized by Republicans for behavior that they claimed overstepped the bounds of a moderator. And after a debate on CNBC in October 2015, Republican candidates criticized the moderators, saying they were biased and unfair, which drove the news cycle for days. And in this election cycle, Mr. Trump has made sport of attacking moderators, particularly Miss Kelly of Fox News. Last year, when she asked him a pointed question about his feelings toward women, Mr. Trump pursued a deeply personal months-long crusade against her, denouncing her as unfair and sick, and he boycotted one Fox News debate because of her involvement. The first presidential debate this fall will be held at Hofstra University on Long Island, the second in St. Louis, and the final one in Las Vegas. The vice presidential debate will be held at Longwood University in Farmville, Virginia.